Welcome to the Black Girl Burnout Podcast. Kelley here, and today starts the beginning of what I am calling love notes to you all. I told you in this week's episode that there were just going to be a few things and a few bonus episodes I'm going to throw in this month and maybe even next month. Who knows? We'll see how long these go for, but where we go to the OG content style, where there are just things on my mind, on my heart that I'm looking on social media, that I'm seeing or consuming that are made me think I want to be in conversation with y'all. I want to talk. I want to yap and I want to connect. And it's also an opportunity to let you all know that you are always and often on my mind. And there are certain conversations that I have with others that I'm like, I really wish I could say this on the podcast. So here's love note number one, which is all about the difference between hustle culture and hard work. And I'm framing this as a love note too, because this is my moment to give you a little encouragement, a little bit of inspiration as you close out your week and go into the weekend, and remind you that it is okay to be doing hard work, but it is not okay to be stuck in hustle culture. So, what do I mean when I say that? And where is this coming from? I've been seeing a lot of discourse of people, creatives, corporate folks, a lot of Black women talking about the fact that there's a lot of people who are in hustle culture preaching and talking about living a soft life. And there's an innate hypocrisy kind of to it, right? It's like, how can you be telling us to live a soft life when you are fully embedded in hustle culture? And then the second level, the more I think generous and not so like accusatory conversation happening is it even possible to not be a part of hustle culture? When we look at the landscape of the way things are, particularly in the West, politically and economically, and people are losing jobs, and it's really hard out here to find a new job. Is it really fair to be preaching soft life ideals and everyone needs to just opt out and kumbaya and twirl and lounge when the world's kind of falling apart, when people's bank accounts are telling them, girl, you better get out there and hustle? And I think that's a really fair conversation and question to ask. I just think the problem is I'm huge about language. And I think what I believe in, I'll say this much, is hard work. But I firmly reject hustle culture. And so I want to talk about what does that mean and what does that look like, and how, more importantly, you can adopt a life that includes hard work, but firmly lets go of and opts out of hustle culture. To me, I think about hustle culture as this kind of like embedded way of being that has you performing all the time, performing competence, catering to people's needs, saying yes to every opportunity, this kind of FOMO. If I don't say yes to this, it may never come again. It's a scarcity mindset, or at least scarcity mindset underpins it. It is firmly rooted in this belief of lack, that if I don't push myself, if I don't take this bad treatment that I'm experiencing at work, or if I don't take these scraps and work twice as hard, that somehow I will be left behind. And more importantly, I'll be left in ruins, whether it's financially or personally. And when I see a lot of people who kind of represent hustle culture, I see people who push through pain, who are making unrealistic, uncomfortable sets of ideas and rules and regulations for themselves that is just insane. I think about it as being like this super woman syndrome, that like there's nothing that bothers me. I need to push, push, push. A lot of it is for the acceptance of others and not your own personal motivations or goals. And that is why I'm so firmly against hustle culture. It encourages Black women to betray themselves at every corner and every opportunity, to say no to self and say yes to things and ideals and values that aren't your own, to random people, to capitalism at its worst, to white supremacy and the remnants of that. It's just all about consumerism, capitalism, sexism, all the stuff that I think is killing us literally and emotionally and spiritually and all the other things. However, I do believe that there is no reality in which you can live your life without doing a little bit of hard work. And that is the piece that I think I want to make clear for you all, that it is okay to work hard. In fact, it is necessary to work hard. I don't know anyone who has any measure of success that isn't a hard worker. But that doesn't mean that hard work is horrible work. In fact, hard work can be joyful work. I think about people who have a craft that they really love. Maybe they sing or they play instruments. In order to be good, they have to work hard. But sometimes and oftentimes you see people who really love what they do, if they're creating art or just creating anything, they're smiling through the hard work. I think about running this podcast. This podcast is nothing short of hard work. You all have no idea what it takes to make a podcast, produce it, edit it, put it together, market it, fund it. It's a lot of hard work. And yet, I've been doing it for years. Why? Trust me, it's not hustle culture. It's because I enjoy it. So, hard work is inevitable and necessary to do anything well. Even the things that you love require hard work to maintain or time and energy to keep up with. What I want you to reject is hustle culture. The questions of who are you working hard for? Is it for yourself? Is it to liberate yourself financially, emotionally, and spiritually? Or is it for someone else's perception? For me, hard work is like the foundation of this podcast, but hustle culture isn't. And that is why I changed the cadence from 3 times a week, because this is what the algorithm wants and this is what people want from you. Y'all, I am no poorer today than I was when I was doing the podcast 3 times a week. The money is going to come or it's not. But what isn't going to change is me and how I treat myself, the value I've learned, the hard earned value I place on my mental health, on my physical health. I've had way too much happen in the last 18 months to be out here caring about what people think I should be doing, how I should be running a thing. I don't need to perform for you all. In fact, I think that might be kind of the thing that makes this podcast work is I am 100% authentic. What you see or what you hear is what you get. If you meet me in the street, I'm pretty close to how I am on the podcast, albeit I'm probably a little more sarcastic and I laugh a lot more, but I am who I am, and I'm not changing that for anybody. I've worked real hard to be comfortable with who that person is, and she is by far not perfect, but I'm pretty proud of who I am and who I show up as. And hustle culture isn't going to have me changing my name, changing my podcast, changing my dress, changing my outfits, consuming to somebody's idea of what is beautiful, what is black, what is competent, all the things. I refuse. So when we talk about constipation, bloating, heaviness, sluggishness, these aren't just random symptoms. They're actually your gut's way of telling you something's off. Look, I'm going to be real with you. As a podcaster and a consultant and a writer, I'm always on the go. And I have struggled for years to maintain my energy, to really keep myself kind of together with bloating around my cycle, all the things you can think of. This is where Oxy Powder from Global Healing came in. Oxy Powder isn't just another cleanse or a quick fix. It's a targeted oxygen-based formula that gently and safely breaks down and flushes out waste and toxins that build up in your gut over time. I take it at night, and by the morning, I'm feeling lighter and clearer, just better. Oxy Powder is easy to take, and because of that, it's become a staple in my routine. And I'm not the only one. A consumer study showed incredible results. 95% said that it relieved constipation, 87% said it felt relief from bloating, and a massive 95% said they would use it again, with 93% recommending it to a friend. If you're tired of feeling weighed down, trust me on this. Head over to globalhealing.com/heal and try Oxy Powder for 20% off. You'll thank me later. That's globalhealing.com/heal. But I still got to do hard work. The podcast still requires a lot of my time, and that is not changing anytime soon. So, part of the need here is to ask yourself, who am I making these changes for? Is joy still a part of what I do? This podcast is hard work, but it is joyful work. Having the conversations that I have with people, working with the brands that want to work with me is a pleasure. It's a joy. I don't feel distressed or burned out. I feel invigorated and excited. Jumping on to do this episode is going to require a lot of work on the back end, even though I'm minimizing it. Still work, but I'm excited to do it. I was like, oh, I got to get on here and talk to y'all. I really want you to get this message. So, yes, the world is hard. We got to make our coins, but we don't have to make them at the cost of ourselves, of our humanity, of our sanity. We have to work hard, but we don't have to hustle. And there is a difference. And if you are struggling with this message, or if you're feeling, Kelley, you are full of it, whatever, you're not living my life, I really want to gently challenge you to say, but whose life are you living? Really? Are you making moves and working hard toward a goal that is genuinely feeling freeing and liberating? Or are you trapped in unrealistic expectations and structures that consistently move the goalpost on you every time you hit a new goal or you achieve a new thing? In the end, do you want to be good at your job? Yes. Do you want to be successful as a creator? I'm sure the answer is yes. But getting to that success isn't going to happen by twisting yourself into a pretzel, by working unrealistic and silly amounts of hours for ultimately empty and probably disastrous, if I'm being honest, ends. I've been in corporate and I've been in podcasting. And no, I am by no means the biggest podcast in the world. Maybe one day, but realistically, not at the moment. But I have a successful podcast, and I will tell you that twisting myself into a pretzel, the odds of me still becoming the number one podcast in the world are low. I've worked in corporate, and I will tell you, twisting yourself into a pretzel for the people you work for will never get you the thing you think you're getting. You're not going to get the promotion that way. But there are real practical and thoughtful ways to work smarter, not overly harder, that can get you that. Mentorship, making the right connections, niching down into what you want to say and unwaveringly not departing from it. I cannot tell you, authenticity is the key. It is the slow race, but it is the winning one. Stay true to who you are. Don't waver off the path, and people will find you. When you change, when you switch it up, people can't remember or find who you are and what you're about. But when you are consistent, you are a beacon and people will find you. In the corporate space, I have never gotten a job and I have never moved up in a job because I twisted myself into a pretzel. And trust me, I did that. I did what people wanted me to do. I stayed late. I sacrificed. I did all the things. I got every promotion and every good opportunity I've ever had by who I knew, by the mentors and the people that I connected with along the way. Those were the difference makers. And in the end, when I think about it, did I have to work hard? Yes, because they need to know that I was a good worker, but they didn't need to know that I would give my soul away for the job. None of that was a factor. And none of the people who talked to me, who recommended me, who put me before others ever was like, and Kelley gave her soul up for the job. That's why she's amazing. They all said, Kelley is amazing because she's good at what she does. Here's her skill sets. So I implore you, absolutely opt into hard work. It's the only way you're going to get to where you want to get in anything you want to do. But absolutely, firmly reject hustle culture. It is a lie. It is a rigged game. And it is only out here to get you to betray yourself and burn out. And you, my dear, dear listener, my lovely, lovely, lovely person, deserve better. So that's it for this week's love note. Please rest up this weekend. Get ready for next week's hard work, but absolutely reject and let go of any hustle culture. You know the drill. You know to connect with me. You know to share this episode freely and often, and to find us on the socials at Black Girl Burnout. And I will see you next week with a new episode, and next Friday with a new love note. Take care of yourself and take care of each other in the interim. Sending you my love.